This Sunday will be the 59th anniversary of the March on Washington. And how is this White House, how is this president marking that moment, particularly as he decided to run for office because of the massacre in Charlottesville, as he walked in talking about equity and equality?
So let me first say a couple of things, because it is an important day, and I want to give it the due as you're asking me this question. You're right. When the president and so many Americans saw what was happening not too long ago, back in 2017, just in August of 2017, and we saw what was happening in Charlottesville, that moved him. What we saw, the hatred that we saw there, that moved him, and that moved so many of us. And he actually wrote an op-ed talking about what he thought that meant for this country, and how sad and devastating it was to see that type of behavior, that type of hatred, and that type of sentiment that was very public, and also someone lost their life. So I want to make sure that we don't forget that day as well, or that weekend as well. And when the president came into office, he took that, talking about dealing with racial equity, he took he took that very seriously. And you see that across the agency. He signed an executive order talking about how he wanted to make sure that there was racial equity within the agencies across the federal government, and you've seen him do that. And Susan Rice, as you know, the ambassador is leading that effort with her department, and dealing with the different agencies, and making sure that we deal with racial inequities, even here in the agencies. So as it relates to March on Washington and that anniversary, the president has said this before, and I'll reiterate. The March on Washington and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech changed the course of history. We continue to reaffirm our commitment to fulfilling America's founding promise. And the president has made advancing equality core to his administration, as I just laid out. We can't rest until justice truly rings out for all of us. I don't have anything specific on what the president's going to be doing on this, but we will share if we have anything more.
And there was a missed opportunity, if you will. Civil rights leaders wanted to mark the anniversary Sunday by having a meeting with the president this week. Could you talk about that? Is there effort to try to have this meeting happen soon? Was it a missed opportunity, etc.?
So, I mean, I'll say this. I don't have a meeting to read out or speak to at this time, but we have stayed in regular touch with civil rights leaders. You know this, April. I think you've reported on the many meetings that this administration has had with civil rights leaders. We are in close touch with them. The president has a very good relationships with many of those leaders, and so we find those relationships important, that we will continue to grow. Again, I don't have a meeting or anything to lay out, but again, we're in regular touch with members of that community.
And lastly, is equity still one of the major one of the major pillars of this administration? Years in, is this still one of the fundamental pieces of this administration?
Oh, it is. It is. I mean, I'll just remind you, when the president walked into this administration, I've said this many times before at the podium, he laid out the different crises that were before him. When he came in, racial equity was one of them, and saying that we needed to do everything that we can to deal with that crisis in a real way. And he has taken those actions, as the GRIO has reported on, as many of you in this room has reported on the steps that he has taken. But it doesn't stop with the executive order. It also is actions that we're going to continue to take within the White House as well.
Thank you.